Hi, this is Mary Bradbury. I'm the Mashpee Recreation Director, but today I come to you as part of the Mashpee Substance Abuse Task Force. As you may have heard, reported in the press in May of 2016, Barnstable County was ranked first for the entire Commonwealth in per capita fatalities from opioid and drug overdoses for the year 2015. Of all the towns on the Cape and the Islands, Mashpee was ranked 5th overall for that same year. In September of 2016, the Mashpee Board of Selectmen and the town manager directed the formation of a substance abuse task force. Chaired by Gail Wilson, Director of Human Services for the town of Mashpee, the Mashpee Substance Abuse Task Force is a multidisciplinary collaboration designed to promote community awareness, education, prevention, and the treatment of substance abuse in the town of Mashpee. Our goals are to engage the community with our wellness campaign. It's never too early or too late in order to prevent substance abuse and decrease the stigma associated with addictions. We want to educate the community about the individual and family treatment options available and connect those in need with treatment providers. We also want to promote the safe disposal of prescription medications in order to decrease access for those struggling with addiction. Over the next 12 months, Mashpee TV will be airing a monthly speaker series developed to meet our education and engagement goals. Please join me today as we welcome Fiona Jensen and Adria Kennedy from Calmer Choice, a Cape-based nonprofit organization offering instruction in the skills and tools that use the concept of mindfulness. For those of you unfamiliar with mindfulness, it's a scientifically proven and effective way to bring one's attention into the present moment.
Back in 2008 and 2009, my daughter was a junior at Barnstable High School, and it was right when the opiate issue was just kind of bubbling up. And she had a friend that was murdered over Christmas that year, and then 6 months later there were two young men who took their lives related to the opiate issue. And it was actually after one of those funerals that I was standing in my kitchen, and there was my daughter who was running away at that moment, not that moment, but in that part of her life. A friend of hers who I knew was addicted to the Oxycontin. Another friend of hers who was throwing up every morning before school because of the level of stress, another one on an anti-anxiety med. And I looked around the room and I thought, oh God, like what is going on here? Like this is really not good. And I remember thinking to myself that there's got to be a way that we can help these kids manage this level of stress because they were so highly wired and upset, clearly for good reason for what was going on. And I had taken a mindful awareness program for myself a couple of years earlier. And I remember during that time saying to Lily, just breathe. And she had no idea what I was talking about. And so I went to the gentleman that taught me stress reduction, and I said, have you ever thought about working with teenagers? And he said, I would love to, but like, how are you going to get them to me? And so I actually had conversations with Lily about like, would you be interested? And she basically said, hell no, I'm not going. And I thought, okay, well, that's not going to work. I could barely get her to go to school, but I was getting her there. And so I thought we really need to integrate it into the school. So I went and I spoke to him and I said, how much would I need to pay you to do a program in the school? And he gave me a number. And so I came home and I said to my husband, like we're both runners. And I said, why don't we do a race? Like we could raise money. People raise money all the time by doing road races. And I went up to another friend of mine who's also a runner. And I said to Betsy, would you help me organize this race to raise money? And what was interesting, I think, because the community was in crisis, which is similar to what's going on Cape-wide now, this crisis around understanding that there is a real issue. Like that crisis was actually happening in my kitchen back in 2009. So we organized the Destress Express, and we raised enough money actually with that to be able to provide two programs, one in Mashpee and one in Barnstable.
When I ran into Fiona's husband, who told me about what she was up to with Calmer, at the time it wasn't even Calmer Choice, but about bringing this into the high school in Barnstable, And I was very excited because at the time I was I thought the only one on the Cape bringing this to children on Cape Cod. So it just was a perfect partnership for us to kind of pool what it was that we were doing. So from the very beginning, Fiona and I started looking at how we best teach these skills to youth on the Cape.
We knew from the very beginning that we needed to involve the teachers. And there needed to be buy-in from the teachers, and that not only were the kids stressed, but the teachers were stressed. And what if we could provide like a stress reduction program to the teachers? And so we had provided a program to the teachers in the town of Mashpee, and they got PDPs for it. And Patty DeBoer was a principal at the time at Quashnet, and after taking the program, came up to us and said, you know what, can we do this, and can you bring this program into our school?
What it did for me and how it made me feel was what prompted me to want to expose our students to this experience. I left every one of the classes after school very relaxed, even though I went into it not really wanting to go, but it was very beneficial to my mental health. So then we went from there to exploring with Calmer Choice, bringing it to the Quashnet School students, which are students in grades 3 through 6. And we did start small, and then it continued to grow. And now it is a program that is offered to every single student, not just the students that may need an extra scoop of support in the guidance office. It gives all of our students a skill set to help them deal with some of the stresses in life, sort of being able to calm themselves down, being able to think and make better decisions when dealing with stressful moments.
Well, we have two amazing counselors here at Quashnet, Mrs. McHugh and Mrs. Morrison, who have received the training for mindful education. And they go into every one of our classrooms, grades 3 through 6, and teach the tools of mindful education to our students. So it's adding to their toolbox on how to be resilient and how to cope with stress and how to cope in different situations. If they're upset, they have a tool set to go to. And it's not acting out, it's to take that time to slow down their thinking, to be in the moment, to take deep breaths. It really is about strategies and to fill that toolbox with different alternatives to become more resilient in working on problems.
But from what I have seen over time, it has helped to create a calmer school climate. Students seem to be better able to respond to some of the challenges that they face.
I do see kids using the strategies. I see it on the playground. I see it in classrooms. I've had parents approach me and say they've used the different strategies at home that their children have taught them. So I think that's showing the longevity and its outreach to the families as well as just to the kids within a classroom setting. So I think in that regard it's been a very positive approach to help kids become truly more resilient in their day-to-day situations.
The first thing that we do is we use just sound, and we'll use a chime in the classroom for students to listen to. And we ring the chime and just ask students just to listen to it. And in that process, we're giving them the opportunity to focus their attention on purpose, specifically just on sound, just on that sound. We then move from there into having them pay attention to the sounds that are around them. And what that does is it gives them the opportunity to just focus all their attention right here, right now, in what's going on, and using a simple tool, the breath. Interestingly enough, I recognized that children were having some challenges sleeping, but when we surveyed our students, we got the result that 40% of students were having difficulties falling asleep on a regular basis, which was really amazing to me. And so we knew that children were having these challenges, and when we surveyed them after taking our program, one of the things that we found was that the things that students are using, the skills that they're learning from us, are the very things that they identified as having challenges with. Things like calming down when they're upset, recognizing their own emotions so that they have greater ability to kind of choose how they react, recognizing others' emotions, calming themselves down before a test anxiety, and using it to get to sleep at night. When we can increase students' abilities to really understand their own emotional reactions, to understand that emotions come and they can react, or emotions come and they can take some breaths, they can actually, settle into this moment right here, and that gives them the capacity to make some choices rather than just react.
So it's kind of like, math and science and history and mindful awareness, like it just gets blended in, so that by the time these children reach the middle school years, which is when we know is when a lot of children are experimenting with drugs and alcohol, that in their back pocket they will have this tool of self-regulation that without our program they wouldn't have.
I want to thank Fiona and Adria for their time today and sharing the information about the Calmer Choice program. It's programs like these that are so important for helping our children be resilient, and as they face challenges, stress, and anxiety, make healthier choices. It's never too early. For more information about Mashpee Substance Abuse Task Force, you can go to the Mashpee Town website under the Human Services Department and follow the link. Please join us for the next segment of our 12-part speaker series.
It's never too early.
It's never too early.
It's never too early.
It's never too early. You're your child's first teacher. It's up to you to teach your child to make healthy choices and not to use drugs and substances for coping.
It's never too early to talk to your children about drugs and alcohol.
It's never too early to be a strong, caring role model.
It's never too early to explain to your kids the damage that drugs can do, how they change your brain.
It's never too early to prepare your child on how to deal with peer pressure.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. If you're taking a medication or something is being prescribed to you that you're not comfortable with, you need to see your healthcare provider and make a change for a healthier outcome.
And it's never too late to talk to your children about drugs and alcohol.
And it's never too late to make a difference in someone's life.
It's never too late to help get someone into treatment.
It's never too late to learn different coping skills and live a sober life.
The Mashpee Substance Abuse Task Force is committed to making a difference in the lives of Mashpee residents.
Through engaging the community with our wellness campaign, we hope to reduce the stigma associated with substance use.
We hope to educate the community about treatment options available
and promote safe disposal of prescription medications.
Please watch our speaker series beginning next week on Mashpee TV, YouTube, and Channel 18.